In a world that constantly pushes us to strive, to grind, and to control every outcome, the idea of letting go can feel like giving up, especially for men over 30 who often find themselves carrying the invisible weight of expectations, career, relationships, health, legacy. The thought of surrendering seems weak, even dangerous. Yet, the ancient philosophies of Zen, Taoism, and Hinduism suggest the opposite, that true strength lies in the power to let go. By the time most men reach their 30s, life has revealed its complexity. Some dreams have died, some battles have been lost, and the voice inside that once said, "You can be anything," now whispers, "This is as good as it gets." The grind of survival often replaces the joy of living. Men in this age group may feel like they are behind. Society measures worth through success, productivity, and comparison. The result? Anxiety, burnout, disconnection, and in the worst cases, suicidal thoughts. Often these thoughts don't stem from laziness or weakness, but from the deep exhaustion of fighting a life that feels perpetually uphill. And in that exhaustion, the idea of letting go can begin to feel less like defeat and more like a door to peace. But what if the problem isn't that we aren't trying hard enough, but that we're trying too hard to control what can never be controlled? Letting go is not giving up. It is not apathy. It is the conscious decision to stop resisting what already is. In Zen Buddhism, this is known as non-attachment. In Taoism, it's the principle of wu-wei, or effortless action. In Hinduism, the Bhagavad Gita teaches karma yoga, acting without attachment to the fruits of one's labor. Surrender is not defeat. It is aligning yourself with the flow of life instead of fighting it. In surrender, you begin to see clearly what truly matters and what never really did. When we stop trying to manipulate every moment to our liking, we begin to sense the harmony that has always been there, beneath the surface. Control gives us the illusion of safety. We plan, calculate, overthink, and strategize every aspect of our lives, hoping that if we just do it right, nothing will go wrong. But life is not a machine. It is more like a river, unpredictable, wild, sometimes gentle, sometimes overwhelming. Taoist wisdom teaches us to become like water, flexible, flowing, adapting to circumstances rather than breaking against them. When you cling tightly to how things should be, you miss the peace available in how things are. This resistance builds a wall between you and your own serenity. And the longer we resist what is, the more disconnected we become from our inner truth and our deeper purpose. It becomes easier to mistake busyness for meaning and exhaustion for effort. But these are not the same. The Buddha taught that suffering comes not from pain itself, but from our resistance to pain. When we say, "This shouldn't be happening," we double our suffering. The mind fights reality, and in doing so, it creates an inner war. Surrender ends the war. It says, "This is what is. I don't have to like it, but I accept it. This moment is my teacher." For a man facing job loss, divorce, illness, or even depression, this perspective can be life-changing. Rather than viewing hardship as a personal failure, it becomes part of a larger unfolding, a season, not a sentence. And in each season, there is a hidden wisdom that emerges only when we stop resisting its lessons. Pain becomes a portal to transformation when we allow it to be what it is without constantly wishing it were different. This shift in awareness can mark the beginning of real healing. Letting go begins with the breath. Inhale deeply, exhale fully, feel the ground beneath you, return to the body. Your mind may be racing, but your breath is always now. In Zen practice, returning to the breath is returning to life itself. When you catch yourself saying, "This shouldn't be happening," pause. Ask, what if it should be? What if this moment is exactly what I need to grow? This isn't resignation, it's awareness. It's a decision to stop being at war with the present and instead allow it to teach you what you need to know. As you breathe into the discomfort, you begin to open up space, not only physically, but mentally and spiritually, for healing and clarity to emerge. Sometimes the breath is the only anchor we need to survive a storm. Sometimes a symbolic act can unlock emotional release. Take all the things you're holding on to, resentments, fears, regrets, and write them down. Then burn the paper. Watch it turn to ash. This simple ritual can give your mind a sense of release your heart has been waiting for. Letting go can also be practical. Taoist living means removing the unnecessary. What can you let go of physically, emotionally, or socially? Maybe it's digital clutter. Maybe it's toxic friendships. Or maybe it's the exhausting pressure to prove yourself. Each small act of release clears a little more space inside for peace to grow. And in that space, you rediscover a version of yourself that is not defined by struggle, but by presence. And that presence becomes the foundation for a more authentic life. Trust becomes essential in this process. Hindu teachings emphasize shraddha, faith in the unfolding. You may not understand why things are happening now, but trust that they are part of your evolution. You do what you can, and then you trust the rest to something greater. Letting go is the opposite of being passive. It requires enormous strength to stop clinging, to stop forcing, to stop needing to always be in control. It takes courage to surrender. Surrender asks us to lay down our weapons, not to become helpless, but to finally stop battling ourselves. And when we stop battling ourselves, we begin to heal. The mind begins to soften, and the heart starts to speak more clearly. Often, what it says is this: you are enough, just as you are. In the Bhagavad Gita, the warrior Arjuna is overwhelmed with despair on the battlefield. He doesn't want to fight. Krishna, his divine guide, doesn't tell him to toughen up. Instead, he invites him into deeper wisdom. Act with awareness, but let go of outcomes. This is the path of inner power. You do what must be done, but you do not let results define you. You fight, but you are not attached to victory or defeat. You love, but you do not try to possess. You live, but you do not fear death. In every act, there is intention, but no obsession. And in that detachment, there is a quiet freedom. That freedom allows you to live with depth, purpose, and resilience, even when everything around you is uncertain. It gives you the courage to stand still when the world demands you run. Many men are stuck in survival mode, emotionally and spiritually. The pressure to figure it all out becomes a cage. But life is not meant to be figured out. It is meant to be experienced. When you let go of the need to be perfect, the need to be successful, or even the need to be okay all the time, something strange happens. You relax. And in that relaxation, you rediscover clarity, strength, and even joy. You begin to notice the beauty in small things, a kind word, a moment of silence, the sky at dusk. These are the gifts waiting beneath the armor. They are reminders that peace is not found in having more, but in needing less. Life, in its simplest moments, is enough. And perhaps that simplicity is not the absence of effort, but the presence of truth. The tree that bends in the storm survives, while the rigid one breaks. The man who can let go of what weighs him down rises. Surrender isn't weakness, it's wisdom. You don't have to carry everything. You don't have to fix it all. You are allowed to rest, to breathe, to let go. And when you do, you might find that life isn't your enemy after all. Start today. Even if it's just one breath, one moment of release. The path to freedom begins not with more effort, but with less resistance. You are not alone, and you are stronger than you know. Let go, flow, and trust that in your surrender, something new is waiting to rise from the silence. And perhaps that something is not a solution, but a deeper version of you, one that no longer needs to prove anything to anyone, including yourself. That version of you has always been there, quietly waiting beneath the noise, ready to come home to peace. If this video message resonated with you, hit the like button if you found value in these words, and subscribe if you'd like more content that helps you find meaning, calm, and strength in everyday life. Share this with someone who might need to hear it today. Your journey matters. Thank you for being here.